Ever found yourself completely alone at a dead-end job in the dead of night? For Alex, it was just another graveyard shift at Quinn's 24/7 QuickStop off Route 77. But tonight, the rules of reality were about to be rewritten. Tonight, he'd discover that in a place where time stands still, some customers never really leave. The flickering neon open sign cast a sickly red glow across the parking lot. Alex Coleman slumped on the stool behind the counter, scrolling mindlessly through his phone. 10:45 p.m., just 15 minutes until he could lock up and escape this concrete box in the middle of nowhere. "Hey, remember the rules, kid," his coworker Mike had said while clocking out. "After 11, you don't go into the walk-in freezer for any reason. Heard me? Any reason." Alex had just nodded. Stupid small-town superstitions. He'd been working at this dump for 2 weeks just to save up for a beat-up Camaro. He wasn't about to buy into some local ghost story. The fluorescent lights above buzzed like angry hornets. Alex began his closing routine, wiping down the coffee station, checking the lottery tickets, and making sure the back alley door was bolted shut. As he walked down aisle 3, snacks and chips, a wave of cold air washed over him. He spun around, his heart doing a sudden tap dance against his ribs. "Hello? Mike, that you?" "Not funny, man." Silence. Only the relentless hum of the freezers. "Get a grip, Coleman," he told himself. "You're just tired." He moved towards the dairy cooler, the linoleum floor squeaking under his sneakers. Then he heard it. A soft, wet, dragging sound, like something heavy being pulled across the floor from the other end of the store. "All right, who's there?" he called out, his voice tighter than he intended. The sound stopped, then started again, closer now, coming from the produce section. He gripped the box cutter in his pocket and crept forward. The automatic doors to the dairy cooler hissed open. Inside, the rows of milk cartons and yogurt cups stood in silent, orderly lines. No one. But on the floor, a trail of a milky, viscous liquid led away from the shattered remains of a gallon of 2%. And the trail, it snaked directly toward the heavy, insulated door of the walk-in freezer. Mike's warning echoed in his head. Don't go into the walk-in freezer. But the door was slightly ajar. A pale, cold mist seeped from the gap, smelling of stale meat and something else. Something coppery, like old blood. His hand trembled as he reached for the handle. He pulled, but the door resisted, as if something was holding it from the other side. Gritting his teeth, he yanked hard. The door flew open with a groan, unleashing a blast of Arctic air. Darkness. He fumbled for the light cord, pulling it. The single bulb flickered once, died, then flickered again, casting a strobe-like effect on the hanging sides of beef. And between them, a shape moved. Impossibly tall and thin, its limbs jointed all wrong. It turned its head, a featureless, pale oval toward him. A voice, dry as rustling leaves and cold as the grave, spoke not to his ears, but directly into his mind. "You are late." Alex stumbled backward, slamming the freezer door shut. He sprinted back to the front counter, his breath coming in ragged gasps. He pulled out his iPhone. No service, of course. The landline phone on the wall was dead, the cord chewed through. Panic seized him. He ran to the automatic glass doors. They were dark and unresponsive. The security grill was down, sealing him inside. The power was on, but he was a prisoner. The overhead lights began to stutter, plunging the store into frantic intervals of light and darkness. With each flash of dark, the tall, thin figure was closer. At the end of aisle 5, then by the magazine rack, then just feet away from the counter. "We hunger," the voices, now a chorus, whispered in his skull. "Your fear is a feast." In a flash of understanding that wasn't his own, images flooded Alex's mind. This land, this patch of asphalt and concrete, was once a potter's field, a pauper's graveyard for the unnamed, the unwanted, the forgotten. Their rest had been desecrated for a convenience store. The entity stood before him now, its form shimmering. It had no face, but a wide, dark gash of mouth seemed to drink the light from the room. "This ground is consecrated with our bones," the chorus hissed. "You stand on our tomb, you will join the feast." Alex, acting on pure adrenaline, grabbed a can of soda from the counter and hurled it. The can passed straight through the creature's torso and clattered against a shelf. Flesh and steel cannot harm us, but your terror, your essence, sustains us. Fear's the weapon. Don't give it to them. It was a desperate thought, his last lifeline. He forced himself to stand straight, to look at the horrifying shape. "I'm not afraid of you," he lied, his voice shaking but clear. The creature recoiled as if slapped. "Lies! All flesh fears the grave." "I am not your food," Alex said, planting his feet. From the shadows of the aisles, more of them emerged, dozens of the tall, thin figures, their blank faces turned toward him, a silent, hungry congregation. "We will take what is ours," they spoke as one. Alex's mind raced. Folklore, old stories, what hurt things that were already dead? Then he remembered his grandma from Louisiana talking about purification, about salt. He ducked behind the counter and ripped open a box of rock salt that winter ice. As the first of the creatures reached for him with long, spindly fingers, he flung a handful of salt. A sizzling sound filled the air. The creature let out a silent scream, its form writhing and pulling back from the white crystals. He poured a thick, continuous line of salt on the floor, creating a hasty circle around him. "A temporary barrier," the entity shrieked, circling him just outside the line. "The night is long, and our patience is eternal." The longest hours of Alex's life passed. The entities paced just beyond the salt, their hatred of physical pressure in the air. Alex talked to himself, sang rock songs, recited lines from movies, anything to keep the paralyzing fear at bay. He watched the high window above the coolers. The deep black of the night slowly, imperceptibly began to soften to a dull gray. "This is not over," the lead entity whispered, its form beginning to fade like mist. "We are part of this land. We will meet again, Nightwalker." As the first true rays of sunlight pierced the window, the figures dissolved into nothing. The security grill rattled and began to roll up with a deafening rumble. Mr. Quinn's pickup truck pulled into the lot, and the old man himself walked towards the door, jangling his keys. "Alex? You in there, son? Everything all right?" Alex, trembling with exhaustion, told him everything. The creatures, the voices, the salt. Mr. Quinn didn't laugh, he just sighed, his shoulders slumping. "So you know." You knew about this?" Alex stammered. "Built the place on top of the old cemetery, cheapest land in the county. My father knew, I knew, now you know. Someone has to run the night shift. Someone has to feed them just enough fear to keep them quiet, but not enough to make them strong." "It's a ritual," Alex realized. "The night shift is a sacrifice. It's a guardianship," though he didn't sound convinced. Alex could have quit. He could have ran and never looked back. But that night, when he returned for his shift, he brought something besides rock salt. When the entities appeared, their forms coalescing from the shadows, he spoke. "I can give you fear," he said, his voice steady, "or I can give you something else. Respect." A stunned silence filled the mental space they shared. "Respect?" the lead entity echoed, the concept foreign on its everything. "This was your land. You were wronged. I acknowledge that." A profound stillness fell over the QuickStop. The aggressive hunger receded, replaced by a watchful, ancient sorrow. The figures didn't vanish, but they retreated to the edges of the store, becoming quiet observers. Alex learned the most important lesson of his life that night. Sometimes the only way to conquer a monster isn't to fight it, but to understand it. And sometimes the night shift is about more than just selling smokes and slushies. It's about keeping the peace between two worlds. So the next time you stop at a lonely gas station in the dead of night, and the clerk seems a little on edge, maybe it's just a boring job, or maybe he's the only thing standing between you and what lives beneath the concrete. Drive safe.